Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to the Deep Space Carrier series here in Elite Dangerous. Over the weekend, I ran back to the bubble to go grab some stuff and have it shipped back here to the carrier. So it's going to need to sit here for another 24 hours for that to be finished. Coincidentally, from where we are right now, it was 210 jumps to go all the way back to Jameson Memorial, and then another 210 to come back. So I found that to be pretty funny. Just me. But anyways, so what we're going to end up doing then is we don't necessarily need to stop our journey and wait for that to continue on our way. What we're going to end up doing, I already have the next 3 carrier jumps planned out for our ship here. We're just going to go ahead and do our exploration as we normally have been. And then once the transfer is complete, we'll catch the carrier up, and then I will show you guys what I went back for. Don't want to show you now because, you know, it leaves you something to look forward to. So we're going to go ahead and hop out of here. Man, I spent so much time. I spent so much time jumping in this ship yesterday. I'm kind of over it, but you know, the journey must continue. Let's go ahead and get out of here and start hopping off towards our next set of destinations. But the stuff I went back for should make the journey a little bit more interesting. All right. As always, we boost into the star to minimize our time. I did this a lot yesterday because I was basically just traveling straight through everything. There's 3 bodies here, so no point in doing any kind of scanning. Let's go ahead and hop out of here. After 210 jumps out there and 210 jumps back, I got pretty efficient at boosting into the star, getting around it, getting line of sight, and then immediately pressing frame shift as soon as the frame shift drive was done. I got from where we were, I don't even know how far it was. It was an average of 75 jumps, average of 75 light years per jump. We did 210 of them, so you do the math on how much that was. I don't have a calculator available right now. But I did that in less than 2 hours. So this ship is a monster at covering distance. Oh, 10 bodies here. I got to get back into scanning again. Duh. I'm not just pushing through anymore. We are actually trying to do some exploration now. So let's get into doing that now and zoom in on some of these planets. I'm not necessarily in the biggest hurry because we only have, I think it was like 21 jumps or something. Oh, you know what? I gotta turn my computer voice back on so I can actually hear what he's saying. And I also need to turn the volume up for you guys because I had it turned down because I was watching stuff as I drove, or as I was flying back out. So yeah, hopefully that's a little bit better for you. And then for the audio, we need to unmute our computer voice guy. That way I can actually hear him saying what I need him to hear. It gets annoying when you hear him just say, frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2. When you hear that 100 times, after about 100 times of hearing that back to back to back to back, you're like, yeah, I need to turn this off. It's getting annoying. For this, when we're just doing, you know, 10 to 20 jumps in an episode per day, it doesn't get that bad. But hearing that same repetition of voice over and over and over again, yeah, that gets old. All right, 8 bodies in this system. I don't know why. I'm having to unlearn the bad, or I don't say bad habits. They're good habits when you're traveling. The bad habits when you're supposed to stop and scan for stuff. So I have to unlearn the automatically move on to the next star muscle memory that I have right now, because that's not going to serve us very well in an exploration mindset. Gotta get back into the groove of this again. But hopefully that's I mean, I'm glad I went now, because if I had waited until we got into the more northern sections of the galaxy before I just decided I wanted to do that, it would have been at least twice as long to get out there and back. So yeah, really, now was the time to do it. All right, I don't know what else that's going to be, but I don't feel like searching around for it fruitlessly. Now was the time to do it, because we're kind of in. So like if you have a little circle of where we're doing the galaxy, I don't know. If you have a let's say my nose, let's say my nose is the center. if you have a circle, if we're down here and we're heading over to here, right, and you draw a straight line in between them, we're kind of in the middle here, which means we're kind of at the closest point to where the center would be. So I think right now probably kind of was the most opportune time to do it, because I think right now we're pretty close to whatever the shortest distance back to the bubble was, especially if you consider the fact that, you know, wait, what am I doing? Scanning. Especially if you consider the fact that the bubble is not at the center of the galaxy. Like, the bubble is not the center of the circle that we're doing. The center of the galaxy is the center of the circle that we're doing. So, you know, the further towards the actual westernmost point of the galaxy itself we got to, the further and further we get away from the bubble. And then you go to the north and, you know, it's even worse. So, yeah, we gotta be super careful about some of this stuff. Fortunately, I'm getting the feeling that we're not going to find biology here. I don't know. Sometimes it's certainly not a real thing. Like, I can't guarantee it. But sometimes you can just kind of feel when the system is just like, nah, we're not giving you nothing this time. Move on. So water world, though, that's worth scanning. We'll definitely go check that out. Let me target it. Ooh, okay, rocky body with 4 biology. We need to go check out that water world. We need to go scan the water world first, though, because once we're done, if we end up going down to that planet, we don't want to have to, like, go somewhere else. So I don't know why I did that. Let's find that water world. Yes, terrestrial water world. Oh, and it's actually the same moon, so that's easy. That makes life super fun. By 50%. All right, we got the water world done. I went on a little rant just before this, and I'm hoping that I remembered to cut it out because, you know, I got annoyed and started cursing. If I left it in, sorry. I'm going to try to remember when I go through the editing process to look for that and cut it out, but if I forgot, which I probably will, sorry. Alright, this is our planet that's supposed to have 4 pieces of biology on it, so we're going to go 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 50%. Alright, we got bacteria, fungoida, osseous, and stratum. On a rocky world, stratum's going to be the green poop-looking one. Osseous could be the interesting, like, clam, like, flat clam shell-looking one. Could be, but I don't know. I don't really want to fly down just to find out it's the boring spiral one. So let's just go ahead. We're going to move on. If we find, like, some Recepta, I'll absolutely go down to the planet. But, you know, or some Stratum Tectonicus, obviously. But, you know, it's not enough to justify going all the way down to the planet, looking around and hoping to find the osseous, and then it turning out to just be the boring gray spiral one. It's like, eh. This is why I wish the tools were a little bit more helpful, so that, you know, because I wouldn't have to make that judgment call if it would just tell me from up here what it is. The developers just severely underestimate, you know, how annoying it is to have to go down the planet down to a planet with the way that they chose to make planetary landings work. We're down to about 16 jumps, though, so we got a few more chances to kind of make things interesting here in this episode. We will see. All right, nothing in this system either. Got a couple of systems in a row here where nothing going on. 5 bodies in this system. We'll go ahead and take a second just to see what's here. A couple of icy bodies, it looks like. Well, it'd help if the... I'm so tired of computers that can't keep up with me. I'm a freaking human being. I am a human being. There is no reason that I should be faster than you. Absolutely no reason at all. All right, I'm going to change my vector here to try to get around the star there, because I want to see what that high metal content planet was. Just on the off chance. Nope. Just on the off chance that it had biology on it. Another Stratum Tectonicus would not go amiss right now. Only 2 bodies in this particular system. We have to catch up on our fuel just a little bit. And now we can start getting on. The great thing about the Mandalay, as I've said in previous episodes, is that it has excellent heat management, to the point that you don't have to wait until you're finished fuel scooping to start charging your frameshift drive. As long as you don't stay in the fuel scooping too long while you're charging your frameshift drive, you never really even get close to 100%. I think mostly, like, if you're doing it efficiently and you hit the frame shift drive as soon as the cooldown is done, and you're like going through the edge of the star properly, I don't think I ever got higher than like 82 or 83% on my fuel scooping, on my jumps. 16 bodies here. We're definitely going to go ahead and scan this system here. Try to get down below the plane of the system itself. And then slow down. And, oh, a bunch of high metal content worlds. We may have some stratum tectonicus here. Metal-rich body. Fortunately, we're going to flip back and forth between the two types. Constantly have to adjust the stupid little frequency thing. Yay. Isn't that just awesome? Those of you who watch me on a regular basis, you already know. Can't stand the full spectrum system scanner. The rest of you, now you know. I'm just not a fan of the fiddly process. I have to explain it a little bit every time I say it, so that, you know, the people who haven't heard why will understand why. I mean, you know, the constant having to mess around, adjust a little bit here, adjust a little bit there, get it perfectly positioned right. Come on. We got better things to do with our time.
System scan complete.
All right, moving on to the next system. All those high metal content planets and not a single biology. That kind of sucks. At some point, I have to bite the bullet and sit down and do some research to try to figure out what types of biology are most likely in what types of systems, and then, you know, what types of bodies in those systems are most likely to have the kinds of biology that we're looking for. And I need to create like a spreadsheet and, you know, make it so that every time we hop into a system, if it's going to be, I mean, make it mostly so that we can put our filter into the galaxy map for our routing to make sure that, you know, as we're going through the galaxy, we're going to more of those systems that are likely to have the kinds of stuff that we're looking for. So, you know, I got to sit down and do the research, and I hate doing research. I can't stand doing research. I really, that's why I don't do a lot of like how-to guides and stuff like that, because I like to just sit down, record for a while, and then be done. And now I'm starting to do a little bit of limited video editing. I'm just not going to do all that. But, you know, it will make it much more, it will, a little bit of time investment to do the research for this. 27 bodies is way more than what I'm willing to do. 20 is my absolute hard limit. Sometimes sometimes I drop it down to 15 if I'm just not feeling like dealing with because I said earlier, full spectrum system scanner. I don't like it. I don't like dealing with it, and I want to be out of it as much as I can. But we still need to have a little bit of searching to find stuff. I'm not fiddling around with 27 bodies. The reason for that is, I have to explain it, sorry. The reason for that is that when you start getting past 20 bodies, you start getting into where you have a bunch of bodies that are all just kind of clustered close together, and you're constantly having to adjust the little frequency thing and move around, and it's annoying. I don't like it when there's a bunch of bodies all kind of clustered on top of each other, and then not only are you trying to like center the cursor on it, but you're also trying to get the frequency proper, and it's just annoying. It's just really annoying. So I don't anything past 20 I don't do, because up until about 20 bodies, did I not press the frequency? Up until about 20 bodies, most of the bodies are going to be kind of separate from each other, or they might be around a gas giant or something like that. Most of the time, you're not going to have like 10 bodies that are all just kind of right on top of each other. But once you start getting past 20, you start getting into systems that have like 2 different stars, and one star is far away, and it has its own planetary system, and scanning all of those are really far away, and it's irritating. So yeah, until and unless they come out with another option other than having to use the full spectrum system scanner to figure out what's in the system, 20 bodies is my hard limit. So here we go, 20 bodies. Now, does that mean that a system with 20 bodies in it will never have clusters like that? No, sometimes they do. But most of the time, 20 bodies is not enough to create the conditions where you're going to have, like, you know, a million bodies all right there on top of each other. Okay, we've got some icy bodies. If any of these have like 4 or more biology on it, we'll go ahead and go check them out. Otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and move on. Because an icy body with 4 two biological sources, almost just like stratum tectonicus, almost all of the time, not 100% of the time, but almost all of the time. Let me get the microphone away a little bit. Almost all of the time, it's going to be bacteria and a fonticula of some sort. And some of the fonticula can look pretty cool, but again, most of the time it's the boring space mushroom variety that we saw in an episode or two ago. So, you know, when you're dealing with distances and scales on a galactic level, you kind of have to put some personal filters in on what you're going to do and, you know, how you're going to invest your time, because there's a lot out here to find, and if you spend too much time focused on each individual system you pass by, you're never going to get anywhere. So some people want to do that. That's fine. Our goal is not necessarily to search every square inch of the galaxy. It's to go on and it's okay. So that's going to be fonticula and bacteria, almost certainly. Almost certainly. Of course, there's a chance it could be something else, but almost certainly it's going to be space mushrooms. Our goal here, while yes, exploration is a big part of it, it's mostly about just going on an epic trip. Going around and seeing the galaxy, visiting the various points of interest that, you know, are along the way to our major cardinal directions of southwest, north, and then east, and then back to the bubble. That's kind of the trip we're going on. Basically doing a loop around the galaxy is what we're trying to get done. So that's the primary goal. We want to make decent time as we're doing it. We don't want it to be 3 years later and we're still in the middle of this loop. But, you know, if we can find some cool stuff along the way, then obviously we want to do that. Okay, so we'll get up here, and there's nothing else in this system. We're down to 7 jumps until we are at where the carrier is going to be 3 jumps. I think I'm going to stick to the 2 jumps during the episode and 2 carrier jumps during the episode and 1 carrier jump offline, and have it carry our ship along the way. But obviously, because I have to leave the carrier where it is right now, we're going to do 3. We're going to do 3 jumps, 3 carrier jumps worth of travel today, and then probably another 3 tomorrow, because when we get to the end of the episode here, we're gonna have 24 hours left on those transfers that I have going on. And my understanding is that if you move your carrier while a transfer is going on, it can, I don't know if it necessarily always will, but it can cancel your transfer, and then you have to start it all over again. So rather than risk that and waste the, you know, day that I've waited already, we're just going to go ahead and just leave the carrier there, play it safe, let the transfer finish, and then we'll have access to all the cool goodies that I went back to the bubble for. That's just the way I kind of want to do it. And if it's behind the star, I'm not messing with it. So we got some high metal content worlds, and of course it's, you know, fine. I don't know why I didn't go down from the plane anyway. Most of the time I remember to do that, but this time I was just like, I'll just wing it. All right, let's see. Are we down far enough now? All right, high metal content. That was it for that. And then we just got some asteroid clusters, and that finishes that off. All right, moving on. I know he didn't say system scan complete, but I mean, there was nothing else on the spectrum that I saw, so it's possible I missed it, but it's not going to be anything we want to go look at anyway. You know, the other thing about, so for those of you who haven't been following me recently, this is my daily, I'm going to start off with my daily statement that I would really like it if the Discovery Scanner went back. Apparently it used to work this way. I would love it if the Discovery Scanner went back to giving you a summary of what's in the system. And then the Full Spectrum System Scanner helps you, or you use the Full Spectrum System Scanner to physically locate the object itself, and then the Surface Scanner to physically locate where those things are on the surface of whatever body they're on. You shouldn't have to use, I don't believe you should have to use the Full Spectrum System Scanner and the Surface Scanner to find out what's on the planet. The signature coming off the planet itself should be enough to tell us, oh, there's stratum on a planet here somewhere. And then if that interests you, then you use the Full Spectrum System Scanner to find the body, and then you use the Surface Scanner to find out where on the body it is. That's what those two tools should be for. But the secondary thing I just thought of is that I personally will be much more likely to actually use the Full Spectrum System Scanner as a tool for confirmation for things, because you know how you zoom in, you can see what the body looks like, right? Well, because you're in such a rush to hurry up and get through the process because it's such an annoying process, I don't really look at the bodies. I just zoom in, look at the top right pane, and see if it has anything that I'm looking for on it. Was there 23 bodies? Yeah, we're moving on. I zoom in, I don't even look at the body, I'm just looking at the info pane. Does it have what I'm looking for? No, back off, move to the next one. If the ping will give me all of the information in the system, and then my interest is piqued by the ping itself, by the discovery scan, then I'm going to be far more likely, once I zoom in on something, to be like, okay, so this doesn't have the biology that I have, but okay, oh, that's a cool looking planet, let's go check that out. You know what I'm saying? But because I have to use the full spectrum system scanner for everything that I'm doing, I don't have the patience to sit there and stop and look and actually look at every body that I have to scan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be much more likely if I could get a little bit more away from using the full spectrum system scanner as the heavy lifting tool of finding stuff, and use it more as a getting higher resolution information, such as what does the planet look like, you know, or, you know, does it have rings? Does it have this? Does it have that? You know, like I'm not even looking at the body right now. I'm just zooming in. Does it have biological features? Are there biological features? Well, there's one. But I don't look at the bodies themselves as I'm going through this process, because, you know, it would take too long. If I have to stop and look at the body, each body itself, and look up at the pane, and then back out, and you multiply that times 20, and then you multiply that times the thousands of times that we have to go through this process, I'm sorry, the full spectrum system scanner just is more of a, it's more work than it is an awesome tool that helps me find stuff. It's just work. It's busy work. I don't like it. So I say all of that to say that, you know, I feel like there's multiple benefits to making it so that the Discovery Scanner provides you with a list of everything in the system. It doesn't tell you where it is, right? You still have to do the work to find what it is, but it at least gives you some upfront information to allow you to decide if, you know, does this system have what I want in it? Is this system worth the time to actually go and scan it? You know, and then if it's not, you move on, and you're not being irritated by having to scan a system only to find out, oh, didn't have anything I wanted. You know, I spent all this time scanning the system, and there was nothing here. And I know that the gamblers among you are like, well, yeah, that's part of the fun. But most of us don't want that. Most of us don't want to waste our time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, make the Discovery Scanner give me a summary of what's in the system. You know, even if it's just, it doesn't have to be the specific things. Like, I'm fine with the surface scanner being the part where, well, I don't know. The surface scanner doesn't give you that either. I'm fine with having to find out. I'll go as far as saying, you know, what am I trying to say here? I will go as far as with the gambling mechanic as saying, you know, you're not going to find out specifically what version of the biology it is until you go down and take a look at it. You know, I still think that that's pretty unreasonable, but I'll go with you as far as that, because, you know, I understand you guys want there to be a reason to go down to the planets, even if it's not necessarily going to be exactly what you were looking for. But at the same time, you know, throw us a bone here. You know, don't waste our time. There's so many star systems out here, and even if you remove the full spectrum system scanner process from it, we're never going to get them all. We're never going to get them all. We're just not. There's way too many out there for us to ever get them all. And it looks like we've reached our destination. So anyways, that's going to go ahead and do it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. You can also join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links in the description if you prefer to go that route, because some people do like to do that to help out with channels rather than going through the YouTube economy. So those links are there for your convenience. So again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to come back for the next leg of our journey. It's unlikely that the carrier will be ready to catch up with us by then, but if it is, maybe I'll be ready to show you our surprise. So be sure to come back, and I'll see you for the next one.